What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Booba Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, unified British heavyweight world champion Anthony Joshua finally admits that he did suffer from an anxiety attack ahead of his highly anticipated rematch with Andrew Ruiz Jr. And even in the first fight, he had an anxiety attack like was being reported. It was being reported that Anthony Joshua suffered an anxiety attack before the first fight with Andrew Ruiz Jr. June 1st at Madison Square Garden in his locker room. And he was having trouble getting to the ring walk and getting to the ring, right? Anthony Joshua has now admitted, yes, he did suffer anxiety attack. And at times during his ring walk, he wants to turn around and say, forget it. He says, but it's just that, leading up into the fight, he said it's all fun and games in training camp and sparring and working out. He said, but when you're making your ring walk, headed to that ring, he said it's a whole different ball game. And sometimes, his mentality kicks in and his anxiety, and it tells him just turn around and go back. He says just that you get to a point and no return, and you start to feel like, listen, I can't walk back now. It's too much. I'm too far gone to walk back now. He says, but he does suffer from mental health issues. And he suffers from anxiety issues. So, I'm not one to play around with that because I, too, suffer from similar situations. So I know what it is to suffer from it. It's not a game. I don't poke fun at it. It's not a joke. So kudos to Anthony Joshua and salute to Anthony Joshua for coming out and admitting this, right? Because that's difficult in itself, right? Because you look and you feel like nobody understands, right? You feel like people may laugh at you. You may feel like people just dismiss you, right? There's tons of different feelings when you suffer from anxiety and mental health issues. So I know exactly where Anthony Joshua is coming from, and I know exactly where his mindset is. There was times where I played football, and there was times where I'd be like, I ain't going out there on the field, right? There's times where, I'm supposed to get on the airplane and I feel like I'm supposed to turn back right now. I'm not supposed to do this, right? So I understand where he's coming from. There's anxiety issues, right? You have detachment feelings. You have feelings of not being real, so on and so forth, right? So you feel out-of-body experiences. So, I want to say my hat goes off to Anthony Joshua for admitting so. I never, discussed that and talked about it because I personally went through it. So when I heard the reports and I heard the rumors and, and things of that nature, I wasn't surprised, right? And so I'm glad that he comes out and he admit that, that's hard for him. It's difficult for him, it's the moment, right? So sometimes in the moment, you just feel like the moment is too big for you. You feel like you're not present in the moment. You feel like out-of-body experience, right? You feel like you're not in control. You feel a sense of detachment, right? Like you're not real. So, I totally understand where Anthony Joshua is coming from. And this just validates all the points, leading up into the fight where people said that he suffered from anxiety. He didn't look the same, right? And this is confirmation, right? He didn't look the same. And that's why, because you see, inside, he totally can't explain what the feeling is and what it's like. And I know that personally because, you feel kind of in a daze, right? So you feel kind of numbed and you have these moments where you snap back in reality and you snap back out. And so, it's no wonder in the fight he felt the way he did. And he had all these confusions because you're not totally present. So you're not grasping everything that's going on around you. So, when he says he heard the crowd saying this, you misjudge what's taking place at the moment. So you place things in the wrong time, in the wrong slots, if that makes sense. It might not make sense. It might, but he stated that, he wished it would have happened to Deontay, where he would have lost to Deontay Wilder. And this is just, this just explains, the hesitation and going into the Wilder fight, because going into the Wilder fight is going to be a huge moment for Anthony Joshua, right? And that's going to be a place where anxiety is going to kick in. But ironically enough, that might be the moment where he feels the least bit of anxiety because he's expecting to feel more anxiety. So it's hard to explain, but at that big moment, he's going to live in the moment, right? It was coming into the States, coming into the Garden for the first time, having this fight and expecting to be able to win. Sometimes you just feel like you want to go through the moments and get through it, right? You not truly want to live in it. You just want to get past it. And so I think that's the reason why he overlooked the Andy Ruiz fight. And again, it gives you a sense of PTSD. So when he went into the rematch, right, that's why him doing what he did is impressive because, you could get to a place where, you have these smells, these senses of reminders, right? These little nuances that gives you reminders and takes you back to the place where you suffered an anxiety attack, right? And so then it's almost like a feeling, right? It could have been anything, right? It could have been a punch. It could have been a look that Andy Ruiz gave. It feels like a deja vu. So, I'm glad that he came out and he stated this, so all the reports that it just was true that he suffered an anxiety attack ahead of the Andrew Ruiz first fight, right? And he said that he suffered anxiety attack ahead of the second fight in the ring walk. In the ring walk, he said that he felt a sense of he wanted to turn around and go back in the locker room, but he felt like he was too far in to just do so. And if you look at his ring walk, look at his blank face. He has a blank stare when he's walking to the ring with his mouth open with his mouthpiece. Watch that's confirmation, right? That confirms everything. When we say that he's scared, it's not that he's scared. He feels a sense of detachment and his PTSD. So that's a difficult thing to deal with. So and it's hard to come out and admit that, right? But I've learned admitting it and acknowledging it is what gets you over. You understand? When you admit it and you acknowledge it, that's what gets you past. And so him doing this, is a big step in your healing process, right? I'm pretty sure you're always going to deal with it for the rest of your life, but I'm glad that it doesn't matter who I root for, it doesn't matter who I go for. I'm Team Wilder. I'm neutral. I believe that I love the sport of boxing. I just like the fact that, and I'm appreciative of the fact that Deontay Wilder's 10 toes down. He's real, and he tries to give us the best fights in the world, and he, risks his life for our entertainment every time he steps through the ropes. And I'm always going to be Team Wilder for that. So salute to Anthony Joshua for coming out and admitting this. And just getting ahead of it, right? Instead of continuously saying that never happened and, that was pure rubbish and, untrue and things of that nature. No, I'm glad Anthony Joshua comes out and got ahead of this. This is a difficult thing to deal with. Mental health is a real thing. You understand? Anxiety takes over some people's lives. You understand? So him coming out and seeing thousands of people and sharing and things of that nature and overcoming it and stepping in the ring and understanding that he have to push forward, because some people could get to the point where they don't care what kind of response they get as long as they get out the moment. And when he says that there's times where he looks and he feels like he just want to turn back, I understand that wholeheartedly. And so there's some people that follow through, right? Everybody don't push through. Some people follow through with their thoughts and decide, listen, I'm gonna turn back, and that's it. You understand? There's actually a basketball player. His name is White. His last name is White, and he's no longer playing in the NBA because of these situations, right? Because he has anxiety with airplanes and big moments and big games and big arenas and tons of people. And guess what? His NBA career ended before it started due to this, right? So Anthony Joshua pushing forward during the ring walk and not allowing it to overtake him and still, performing is huge, right? So salute to Anthony Joshua. And he also stated that he still wants that Deontay Wilder Tyson Fury winner. He wants to fight both, win, lose, or draw. So hopefully he stands on his square and this explains a lot of the contradictions that come from Anthony Joshua. This explains a lot of the contradictions that come from Anthony Joshua because he's not always present in the moment. So sometimes you talk and don't even feel like you're talking, don't feel like you're real. So sometimes he's not in the moment, and so when a reporter or a journalist or a analyst is talking to him, he doesn't always grasp exactly what they're saying. So his response is different from when he goes and settles in, if that makes sense. When he goes back and looks back, he's like, oh man, why I say this? Because sometimes you just ramble, because you kind of drift off mentally. So I understand exactly what he's talking about, because the anxiety at the moment, even when you're doing the interview, tells you, am I sitting here? You understand. So it's like you have this detachment feeling, but you're trying to talk, and somebody's talking to you, and you have this feeling of, am I really sitting here? So you miss parts and pieces of the conversation, so you respond in a different manner. So salute to Anthony Joshua for coming out and saying this, man. But that's all I got for y'all. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue Bud Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Bud Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shouts out to the entire LDBC. Shouts out to New Media. Shouts out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.